Welcome in to I Remember My First Time. Oh, don't be nasty, Jacob. Not that first time.
God damn it.
This is a podcast about cinematic awakenings.
All right, sounding a little bit better.
Where we talk about the movies we love with someone who just popped their cherry to that movie.
Oh, God, I love a good cherry pop.
Jacob, are all the movies we do on this podcast going to be good movies?
God, I hope not.
Do we like shitty movies?
We love shitty movies. Sometimes even more than good movies.
Are we critics?
Absolutely not.
But do we love movies?
Oh, we do. We love the shit out of movies. And this week's masterpiece is a special one to start off our 2023. We have an instant classic. One of the, if not the best stoner comedy of all time. Written by the stoner god himself, Seth Rogen. Pineapple Express.
I'm ready to rock down to Electric Avenue.
BJ, it's time to suck today's dick.
I am BJ Leica, and I used to use this little gun when I was a prostitute.
Joined as always by me, Jacob Beakus. Hey BJ, look, it's like my thumb is a cock. Before we dive into this episode, I just want to say that one of my favorite lines of any movie is, it's time to suck today's dick. And it's my most misquoted line because I attribute it to Superbad.
It is not.
It's
not this movie.
It is Pineapple Express. Anyways,
it does take place in the school, which is probably why you associated it with Superbad.
Probably. But I had to get that out of the way because I do it all the time.
All right, so I need some help here. With this movie, do I read the Netflix description as a stoner or as an action movie, or how should I do this? A comedy?
I think it's a stoner movie before an action movie.
Okay. After witnessing a murder, a perpetually stoned process server and his good-natured dealer go on the run from a drug lord who's out to kill him.
Was that exceptionally easy to do since you're stoned?
Exceptionally. Did I do an impersonation?
Speaking of which, hand me that lighter. It's my turn. You got to when you're talking and watching Pineapple Express.
Oh, of course. You just said it's one of the, if not the best. You said stoner comedy. I think stoner movie.
Fair, but most stoner movies are comedies.
That's true.
And I promise, what I have here is not Snickle Fritz.
This movie is rated 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb.
Wow, low rating.
68% on Rotten Tomatoes and 64% on Metacritic for a movie that both of us have already called one of, if not the best stoner movies of all time.
I love how they're all consistent with each other. That doesn't happen a lot.
It doesn't, and especially a movie like this is... I would have thought the audience score was loads higher than the critics score.
I would have thought the audience score was loads higher, too.
Speaking of critics, what do you think our buddy Roger Ebert, thought of this movie?
He was alive in 2008, wasn't he?
He was.
I don't think he liked this movie.
In a review titled, Buddy, Can You Spare a Joint?, Roger Ebert gives this movie 3.5 stars out of 4.
Fuck him. But honestly, that's what he should have given it.
So. Oh, yeah. As a critic.
This movie's pretty much perfect.
David Gordon Green, the poet of the cinema, is the last person you'd expect to find directing a Judd Apatow male buddy comedy about two potheads who start a drug war. But he does such a good job, there's a danger he'll become in demand by mainstream Hollywood. Okay. Roger Ebert thought this movie was so good that it was going to turn one of his favorite indie directors into a mainstream guy.
Wow.
He goes on, Pineapple Express has all the elements that you'd expect from the genre. Male bonding, immature sexual desires, verbal scatology, formidable drug use, fight scenes, gunfires, explosions. Yawn? Not this time. It's a quality movie, even if the material is unworthy of that treatment.
Okay.
I threw this in here because I found it hilarious. The critic James Bardinelli observes, quote, "A lot of buddy films aren't fundamentally that different from romantic comedies. The relationships are also often developed in the same fashion, only with male bonding replacing sexual chemistry," end quote. Then Roger goes on to say, "Does that make Dale and Saul gay? Even if they're not aware of it?"
Yes.
Pineapple Express is the answer to the question, what would happen if a movie like this were made by a great director? This question descends directly from those old rumors that Stanley Kubrick was going to make a porn.
Really? That is fucking crazy.
I take what Rod says at his word. And the final piece of this review, beware. Despite a warning, the movie is enthusiastically pro-pot.
Yes. Very much so. Seth Rogen just straight up, I'm going to come out and say it. If weed is not legal in 5 years, I've lost all hope in humanity. It makes everything better. It makes sex better. It makes food better.
My favorite, it makes shitty movies better.
Yes. Yes. This does not count as a shitty movie.
No.
But it did make it better.
I watched it stone cold sober.
Really?
Yep.
I'm a stoner, so I watch it stoned. Because why not? It's Pineapple Express, baby.
Yeah.
It had a $26 million budget in 2007.
Seems quite low. I'd have thought higher.
There's a bit of trivia. I forget where it is in my trivia, but here it is. Seth Rogen told the April 25th issue of Rolling Stones magazine that the filmmakers originally wanted a budget of $50 million, but was only able to secure $25 million due to the drug-heavy subject matter. They
did a lot with that little amount of money.
Yeah, they did a ton. Today, that's $26 million, so it's gone up 10.
$36 million.
That's what I meant. $36 million.
Okay, all right. And how much did it make?
It made, off of the original $26 million budget, $102 million. That's worldwide, and the U.S. and Canada, $84 million. So a lot international.
Yeah, especially for a movie that's this pro-pot.
Mm-hmm. Now that I'm sitting here finally enjoying a joint after my long day at work, I feel like a slice of butter melting on a big old pile of flapjacks.
You've had enough of item number 9.
Illegal! Do you remember your first time watching this movie? By chance?
Yeah. I mean, it was nothing. There's no special story or anything to go with it.
I don't remember my first time watching this movie. So, what'd you think about
it? 2008 BJ was probably peak stoner BJ. So this movie hit pretty hard.
Nice.
And my thoughts haven't changed much on it. It's a great movie. So I think depending on what your definition of a stoner movie is, it's in the top 3 for sure with Big Lebowski and Dazed and Confused.
You consider Big Lebowski a stoner movie?
No, but I can see how someone could say that.
Okay.
And then start an argument. But I don't. I think the dude's a stoner, but I don't think that movie's made for stoners.
For sure. I don't think it's a stoner movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I'm a total stoner.
Yeah, I just know that if I said, it's the best, someone would come at me with Big Lebowski. And
sure.
And I'm not really willing to fight that it's not a stoner movie, where it sounds like you are.
I am ready to fight. 100%. It's not a stoner movie. But, yeah, I feel the same way about this movie. It's fucking great. From the moment it starts until the moment it ends, I'm never bored. I'm always amused. It's always funny.
Is it the perfect stoner movie? Because it has your humor. It has a car chase. It has some great action. And it has a ton of pot. Is it a perfect stoner movie?
100%. It is the perfect stoner movie. And that's what I liked about it. Everything you just said is what I liked about it. Is there anything you didn't like?
First of all, I want to say that I do love how self-aware this movie is. That might be the best part of this movie is how self-aware it is.
Yeah. You got an example?
Oh, just the action scenes where they just find guns laying around and they're like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah.
The sword fight with the fluorescent bulbs.
Mm-hmm.
All the pot references, everything they do with pot, basically.
The car falling on Rosie Perez after exploding.
Yes. The only thing that I didn't like about it is I either wish Seth Rogen didn't look 37 in this movie or wasn't dating an 18-year-old.
Because he's clearly not 25.
I don't think he's that far off. I think he's real close to 25 in this movie. I think that's just Seth Rogen.
You think so?
I think so.
You're wrong. He's 40 now. So he was about he was.
Yeah, he was 25 then.
Oh, is that how?
Or 26. Maybe when they were filming it, he was 25.
2008 wasn't 20 years ago.
How long ago do you think 2008 was? It was 15 years ago, because technically it's 2023.
So he's... I'm just doing math wrong. We're going to edit all that out.
Yeah, no, he is 25.
I don't want to sound that dumb. Fuck it, we're keeping that bit in. We're going to call it The Stones. Because I already feel like a big old slice of butter melting on a big old pile of flapjacks. You know what I think? Fuck you!
So is there anything you didn't like?
No, there's nothing I didn't like.
Do you agree with me on... It's...
No, because I was 26 dating a 19-year-old. Thank God she was out of high school. Was it a good or bad movie?
Your little Freudian slip said it all. It's a great movie.
Yeah, fair enough. And now we get to it.
Right down deep in this movie?
As deep as we can possibly go. Balls deep. Balls deep.
All right. My number 4 favorite scene in the classic that is Pineapple Express is obviously we cheat. This is my cheat scene.
Fuck, we have the same cheat scene.
Is it both time they're at Danny McBride's house?
No.
All right. But the 2 times they go to Danny McBride's
both
house,
are great.
I don't know which one's better.
I don't either.
Throwing an ashtray at Seth Rogen, beating up James Franco with the dustbuster is hilarious. But when he pulls the paneling off and pulls out the guns and goes, "Thug life," as he's already beat the hell up with a neck brace on.
I mean that's your opening quote. I used to use this gun when I was a prostitute. Danny McBride is so fucking funny.
His delivery of that line is so good.
Thug life. What's wrong with your lip? Like cold sore. Isn't that herpes? Yeah.
I told you not to eat that lollipop out of that stripper's snatch. I told you. And what did James Franco end up doing there?
He ate something out of the stripper's asshole.
I believe it was a box of nerds out of a stripper's asshole.
Yeah. You said you wouldn't tell. I might not remember the first time I watched this movie, but I remember my first time moment, the moment I fell in love with Danny McBride, Tropic Thunder. Steve Coogan starts losing his shit, and Danny McBride goes, "That's the signal!" And then they blow up the tree line, and he's just like, "Mother Nature just pissed her pants!" And I'm like, this guy's fucking funny.
Danny McBride can deliver a comedic line.
Yes.
So that's my number 4. Go ahead.
My number 4 is both times they're at Saul's apartment.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I thought hurricane season was over. I knew a real life Saul, and we worked together at Pizzeria Testa, and I mentioned to him one time how funny I thought he was in general. And he was like, you're pretty fucking funny too. And I was just like, yeah, but I think you're real funny. And I'm standing there at the drink station, minding my own fucking business. And we had just gotten out of the weeds as a whole restaurant. And I go, I thought hurricane season was over. Because we were down to just me and him as closers. And he walked by and about fell over. The cross joint, and then throwing up in the printer.
Yeah.
You threw up in my printer. Did you break it? I hope not.
I hit 2 cars on the way over here.
The whole baby fucking thing. And I can't tell you how many times I use lingerer. Lingerer.
Yeah.
And I love what's important in the second scene. Grab the weed, snack food, fruit roll-ups, anything we might need.
That's the awareness of this movie.
Yeah. And just stoners. Like, grab the weed. Let's go.
And yeah, no, it's a great scene. Both of those are really good.
What's your
number? I love James Franco's relationship with his grandmother. His booby.
I have great trivia on that. It was James Franco's idea for his character to have a bubby.
So my third favorite scene is the car chase scene. And I start it when they're selling the weed to the kids.
Of course you have to.
Because it's hilarious.
Yes.
But not as funny as the policewoman searching Seth Rogen.
That scene just gets funnier when she pops up.
When my students come out with their eyes better than the devil's dick.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was decriminalized. It is decriminalized, but not selling it to my students. That is not decriminalized. That is still very much illegal.
She is given 130% in that scene. She has all the energy. So as much as I like the kids, that's probably my favorite part, even though there's a kick-ass car chase scene. And James Franco tries to kick the front windshield out and gets his foot stuck and pulls his groin. And I still think I like the female cop the best part of this scene.
That scene has to be my number 1 honorable mention. And it's so much of an honorable mention. You talking about it, I'm looking at my top 4 going, which can I change? Like, which one can I take off to put that on there?
Because that's when this movie ostensibly switches from a comedy to an action movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so good and really sets up the end of the movie really well. I love that scene.
Yeah.
I could watch that scene all day long.
If I did end up picking that scene, I would start it just right before they're selling weed to the kids. When we get the hilarious moment where James Franco goes, they say don't dip your pen in company ink. But I'm glad I dipped my pen in your ink.
Seth Rogen is so uncomfortable.
My number 3 scene is your number 4.
Both times
they're at Danny McBride's house. We've pretty much covered most of it. I love the phrase "holy cock."
I did miss one thing.
What?
Seth Rogen trying to flush Danny McBride's phone down the toilet.
Yes.
Is comedic gold.
Yes. I loved him quoting Gladiator as he was trying to beat the shit out of him. What we do in life echoes in eternity. Did you catch that Gladiator reference?
I did not.
He was quoting Maximus.
That's funny.
And we get Craig Robinson?
Yes, Daryl from The Office.
Yes, we get him in these scenes. We didn't mention that earlier, but he used to not give a fuck about discretion. I seen you pull someone's jawbones off. I seen it. And the last thing I want to say that we didn't mention is I loved how ridiculous the duct tape was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. They're 2 stoners. They don't know. Although one's trying to be a civil engineer eventually.
He even has his favorites. My second favorite civil engineer. Your number 2.
I'm piggybacking here on your number 4 scene. Mine is just the initial Seth Rogen, James Franco scene.
Okay.
I think is the most realistic drug dealer, drug consumer relationship I've ever seen on television or movies. It's so freaking realistic. And I think that's what makes it so funny to me.
See, what's funny is I was never Seth Rogen. I'm just like, I want to chill.
Oh, no. I was very much Seth Rogen.
But I lived at my mom's house to help her get through college for way too long. So I'm just like, what the fuck am I going home to? Let's smoke and play video games. Let's become friends because this means free smoke.
And then the lingerers come over, and Seth Rogen's like, how come I can't have that?
He doesn't get this pineapple press, he gets a snickle frizz.
And then to find out later in the movie that he's only been going to him for 2 months.
Right. My number 2 scene is the dinner scene.
I'll have some more honorable mentions, but I had a hard, it was either keep this out or keep Danny McBride out.
And you can't keep Danny McBride out.
I couldn't keep Danny McBride.
It was either keep this out or keep the car chase out. And I knew you'd have the car chase. So it was going to get covered. He shows up at dinner and the dad's like, dude, you smell like shit.
The father is great.
I love that dad. He's like, 2 minutes, I'm going to eat. Y'all can sit here and be polite and play that game, but in 2 minutes, I'm going to eat. And I'm going to eat in my room with my TV on.
That man's been through some shit.
Angie, I swear to God, you better do something or I'm gonna. The mom, you are high as a fucking kite. I loved her stabbing James Franco with a fork.
What residence did they go to the hotel under? Garagely?
Garagely, yes. Oh, you ask whenever the dad has the gun, the best line the dad has is, "You assholes do as I say, or I'll take you outside and fuck you in the street."
I'm glad you had it on there. I was really worried we weren't going to talk about this scene, but goodness.
Just to end this Mount Rushmore scene, the scene ends with them in the car, and you hear her dad saying, "Angie, you're an idiot, and I say that with love." It's way too funny.
So number 1 scene has to be the whole final action.
That's, yes.
Including the diner scene at the end.
Yes, let's just talk about it. That's our number 1 scene.
It's as engaging of a final 30 minutes of a movie as I've ever seen.
Yes.
And this is from a stoner movie.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know who the director was, but maybe Roger Ebert got it right. This is what happens when you get a good director to do one of these movies.
It nailed it. What great direction in action scenes featuring Danny McBride, Seth Rogen, and James Franco.
Right.
Did you like how Rosie Perez died?
I loved how Rosie Perez died. I love when they're talking about escaping after, they have their little conversation about forgiving each other. And they're just like, "We can hear you outside. Shut the fuck up."
I heard the whole thing. I'll cough once, you cough twice, me. I heard all of it.
I love them straight up humping each other. So funny.
We're going to have to change angles.
And it looked like they were eating ass.
I will say the first time I watched this movie, I had to pause it because I was laughing so hard at the sword fight with the fluorescent bulbs.
Mm-hmm.
I was laughing so hard at that the first time I saw this movie, I had to pause it.
Such a good scene. So great. I also love Saul walking through that room going, "What? Bubba Kush?" And just naming different ones. Like, "Oh my God, White Widow." You need to sit your sexy ass down and watch yourself get killed. I love Daryl.
Craig Robinson, if the female cop was given 130%, he's given 115.
Yeah. He was great. And everything about this scene's awesome. From the moment it starts until the moment it ends, it never lets up.
It's one of my favorite scenes in movie history.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but it's a top 10 scene in movie history for me. From this stupid ass stoner movie.
Yep.
And it ends so sweet at the diner. Think she can drop me off at the hospital?
Definitely. Just sitting there dying of blood loss. Seth Rogen missing an ear. They're just like, can we just take a minute and just sit here in silence and think about our journey together? And David Rudd just starts to die.
So we mentioned this earlier, but the opening scene with Bill Hader experimenting with marijuana on him.
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious.
What
a great start to a movie.
Yes. Oh, bleep, bloop, blop, bleep, bleep. Can you understand me?
I had a hard time keeping that one out, too.
Me too. It was just so short.
Yeah.
And there's so many good scenes in this movie.
Oh, because the first scene is obvious.
Yeah.
And when you get the car chase and the visiting to the drug dealers, really difficult Mount Rushmore for me to do this week.
Yeah, agreed.
You ready for our movie-related talk?
No, I'm not ready for the movie-related talk. I'm just kidding. I'm just stoned.
I have in front of me the 10 highest Rotten Tomato scores for stoner movies.
Let's hear it.
Number 10, Pineapple Express at 68%.
There's 9 more higher rated stoner movies than Pineapple Express?
Yeah, it's wrong.
Okay.
Number 9 at 69%, nice, is Ted.
Not a stoner movie.
And not better than Pineapple Express.
Correct.
Number 8 is a movie I have not seen, Inherent Vice.
Nope, haven't seen it.
Okay.
What's the score?
73%.
Okay.
Came out in 2014.
I guess we'll have to watch it.
It's a Paul Thomas Anderson movie that stars Joaquin Phoenix.
I think I own it on Blu-ray. I just haven't seen it yet.
Number 7, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Quality film.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only one that's in the same tier as Pineapple Express.
It is 74%.
Okay.
Number 6, Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
I've never seen that.
It's not. It has one stoner character who's like the 6th character in the movie. It's kind of weird that's on the list.
So not a stoner movie.
Number 4, at 83%, we have one that's not a comedy, Easy Rider.
Never seen Easy Rider. Is it a stoner movie?
No. Dennis Hopper and Peter Fonda drive through the South and Southwest, and they're kind of counterculture hippie type people, and they drive through the 60s South.
This sounds like a fun movie.
Number 3, This Is the End.
Okay.
Which is a fine movie.
Not a stoner movie.
Not really a stoner movie, and kind of a lesser version of this movie.
Yep. What's his rating?
83%.
Jesus Christ.
The same rating as one of your personal favorite films that we've already talked about, The Big Lebowski.
Only 83?
Yep.
Okay.
And the highest, at 92%, is the Richard Linklater classic Dazed and Confused. Which I would argue that that's a One Wild Night movie, much more than a stoner movie, but I get it. It does have stoner vibes.
Okay. I haven't seen it, so I have no opinion.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're a stoner. You haven't seen Dazed and... The movie's called Dazed and Confused.
I know. Have not seen it.
Honorable mention to movies. They're not on this list, but shout out to How High and Half Baked.
Friday
was on here. Oh, I must have missed Friday. Friday was number 5 at 78%.
Okay.
I missed that somehow. My bad.
That's okay. But yeah, Half Baked and How High. And Grandma's Boy.
Grandma's Boy, yeah.
Deserves a shout out. And now it's on to character breakdown.
We start with the star and writer, Seth Rogen.
Dale Denton.
What an awesome job.
Yes. I think the funniest thing about his job is, you remember that one scene where that one person, he shows up and he serves them and he goes, get a real fucking job. He's definitely the same kind of person who would get annoyed that people don't have jobs. And Seth Rogen has a real fucking job.
That probably pays fairly well.
Yeah. You're the one that broke the law.
I like how the offenses kept getting higher and higher.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Because we get higher in this movie.
And as what's playing on in the background is, then we take it higher, higher, higher. Oh, we've got to rock on to Electric Avenue.
Yep.
That's the second scene in this movie after the Bill Hader cold open.
Correct. Quality shit.
This is also a role that nobody could have pulled off better than Seth Rogen.
I agree. 100%. I don't think anything else needs to be said. He killed it with writing and starring in this movie. No one else could have done it.
No one.
James Franco.
What a break for him.
Right? No kidding.
What a breakthrough role that's perfect for him.
So good.
Despite being, well, I was going to say straight. When it comes to drugs and alcohol, straight-laced.
Yeah, he doesn't smoke weed.
He does have some other personal demons, but...
oh, what?
He likes to have people join their acting class and send nudes to him.
Nice. Not really. I forgot we're audio recording and people can't see my reaction when I say something, because then it sounds like I support that. I do not.
Yeah, just some weird stuff like that of the sexual nature that he's been linked to. But anyway,
maybe he should pick up a cross joint.
I can't light it by myself.
But what, like you said, what a breakout role for him. So good as Saul.
And I believe so much how much he loved his booby.
Oh, his booby was everything to him.
Everything.
If you had like euthanasia, like had to, could you? I would hate to have that conversation.
What about with your drug dealer?
Would hate it. With anybody. Because you're not going to like my answer. Yes, I could.
Yeah.
100% I could.
Yeah.
Without a second's thought. I will wait long enough for there to be no chance.
Sure. I'm not going to prematurely do it.
Absolutely not. Like, we're going to go through all the right medical things to make sure it's not possible. And then Audi 500. Danny McBride.
Red.
What an incredible segue.
Also, how do I say this? I would not expect the guy that looks like him to be nicknamed Red.
Me, yeah. 100%. Because, I mean, I guess he turns red.
Of course, he's a white guy. We all do.
Real white.
I mean, we both put both scenes he was in our Mount Rushmore.
Because he's incredible.
That's how much we like him in this movie.
Watch Eastbound and Down. You'll thank us later. If you haven't seen it, enjoy.
Wow. I'm down for an Eastbound and Down rewatchable.
Fuck yes. The bad guys.
There's so many of them.
So many. We've got Rosie Perez, who is great in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Ted Jones. Daryl from The Office. The Asians.
Bobby Lee. They are all so outrageous and all so funny. Even Ted Jones trying to be straight is hilarious to me.
Yes. The bad guys were just great. They were performed to perfection.
I think Daryl's got to be my favorite bad guy, and then Rosie Perez second.
Agreed. Me too.
Rosie Perez is on one during that car chase scene too.
Yes.
We didn't talk about that.
We did not, but she is, and she's great.
I kind of wish she had more of her typical Rosie Perez accent in this.
Yeah. I think that would have added to it.
I do too.
Anything else?
No, I'm good.
I have some pretty neat trivia and facts here, BJ.
Is it all about weed?
No, not all of it. Seth Rogen originally wrote the part of Saul Silver for himself to play. Could you imagine that?
No, that doesn't sound good.
No. He has to be Dale.
Yes.
I don't know who he thought could play Dale.
I don't either.
It wasn't until the table read that he realized James Franco would be funnier in the role of Saul.
Yeah, good choice.
Seth Rogen rolled every joint and cross joint in the film himself. Have you seen this man roll a joint?
How do you do the cross joint?
I have no idea. I don't even know how to roll a joint. I use a little bamboo roller.
Oh, I just use a dollar bill.
Yeah, I can't do it. And I don't care. I'm not going to learn. I'm 30.
It's too late now.
Yeah. Fuck it.
You already have a bamboo roller.
I have so many other things I want to learn. But anyways, have you seen him roll a joint?
No.
There's a TikTok video. He does it in like 15 seconds, and it's a tighty whitey. It's ready to go. I wanted to smoke it. I was like, wow. The fight scene between Saul and Carol was, for the most part, improvised. Because of this, Franco was worried he would hurt Perez and would ask her for permission to do certain things during the fight. In the end, Perez actually did get hurt and got a bruise after Franco accidentally bit her too hard on the thigh. But Perez didn't tell him until after filming was done, so he wouldn't feel bad.
How sweet.
Right. I had fun reading this trivia. One of my favorite lines in the movie, James Franco's line, "It smells like God's vagina," was actually originally improvised by Seth Rogen. James Franco told him it wasn't funny and then used the line in the next take.
What an asshole! If you ever did that to me, I'd smack you.
The dinner scene near the end of the film was not in the script and was improvised on the spot by the actors.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that incredible?
Wow.
This is the first marijuana-themed comedy to gross over $100 million worldwide.
Deservingly so.
While filming the scene in which Saul runs into a tree, James Franco became overzealous and actually ran into the tree, causing to get him 3 stitches. When James Franco smashes the bong over Dana McBride's head, it was supposed to be a fake breakaway bong so McBride could take part in the stunt. However, it was filled with some water, and when Franco actually smashed it, McBride was mildly hurt.
Because Franco's just out here hurting everybody.
I love how a fake bong on set has water in it.
Yeah, you gotta make it look real. You're not paying to have CGI put water in a bong.
I guess that's true. But also every bong doesn't need water in it. It's not like Red had one bong. We're stoners here.
Yeah, okay. Doesn't have to be the one he was smoking out of.
That's true. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Rosie Perez convinced director David Gordon Green to cut most of her dialogue out, telling him it would make her character's crooked side more effective and ultimately more mysterious.
I think it did.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have cared if there was 5 minute more Rosie Perez dialogue, but
I know I wouldn't have cared. I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston read for the role of Ted Jones. However, Judd Apatow felt Cranston wasn't evil or scary enough to convincingly portray a drug dealer. Ironically,
I got some bad news, Judd.
Yeah. Cranston later rose to prominence playing Walter White, the one who knocks, a high school teacher turned methamphetamine dealer in Breaking Bad. I added the one who knocks because what a fucking scene.
That scene is one of the best scenes in television history.
That's one of the best scenes in screen history.
That's fair.
As he's handing Dale some guns, Danny McBride says, "Ted Jones messed with the wrong melon farmers." This is a reference to the common network television practice of dubbing over swear words with less objectionable words, or terms that have a similar sound and length, even if the replacement words don't really make sense in the context of the movie.
All right.
Which in the scene where Walter says this is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass in The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
The TV version is this is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps.
That might have been the best trivia of this whole thing.
Right. So yeah, an example would be John McClane's Yippee-ki-yay motherfucker became Yippee-ki-yay melon farmer.
Okay.
James Franco had stated in an interview with MTV News, and Judd Apatow stated the same at a Comic-Con event, that they had considered making a movie sequel that would intersect the storylines of this movie and Superbad, but it never materialized.
How does that work? Dale becomes a cop?
I have no idea. I mean, Seth Rogen can play two characters in the same movie.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know.
Okay. That'd have been fun.
But I know I would have enjoyed the fuck out of that movie.
That'd have been fun.
Seth Rogen had to practice yoga to be more limber for the more physical scenes in this movie.
We should all practice yoga.
100% we should. The first time Dale visits Saul, he apologizes for coming up for being buzzed in, but Saul replies, "Stuff your sorries in a sack, man." This is actually from an episode of Seinfeld where the characters disagree over whether or not the quote is a commonly used expression. Ironically, after the popular episode aired and was replayed over and over in syndication, "Stuff your sorries in a sack" actually did become a casually and commonly used expression as seen here in the film.
I don't believe I've ever heard it outside of Seinfeld.
I have.
Okay.
Yeah. The word fuck and its derivatives are said 180 times.
It didn't seem like that much. I mean, it's obviously they said it a lot, but I would have guessed like 45.
I would have guessed like 75. But yeah, I mean, 75 is not 180. The Asians depicted in the movie are South Koreans.
All of them?
That's what IMDb says.
Okay.
In the original script, Dale's girlfriend Angie was an adult with a strong, mature businesswoman, in sharp contrast to her slacker boyfriend. The decision to rewrite Angie as a high school senior was done to avoid unfair comparisons with Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, okay. I didn't get real Shaun of the Dead vibes, but
I guess you might have if the character was the original way.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Co-producer and co-writer Judd Apatow says that the inspiration for this film came from watching Brad Pitt's drugged-out character Floyd in True Romance. Did you know that?
Did not see that coming.
Yeah, I've known that for a while.
Because when I think of Brad Pitt, I do not think of, let's put Seth Rogen in this role. No offense, Seth.
That's James Franco.
Okay. I didn't feel James. I guess I didn't really feel like either of them were drugged out.
No, but just stoned.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt wasn't really drugged out.
Drugged out was an unfair.
Yeah, he was just super stoned. Which happens from time to time.
Yeah, man.
I couldn't do math with, a small number of 15. Though James Franco's character is a drug dealer and heavy marijuana user, Franco does not actually smoke pot.
Yep.
I already said that, but I want to say it again. The place where Sal and Dollar held hostage in the beginning of the movie, obviously same place they're taken back to. Mm-hmm. You can see the same underwater suit with the testing of the marijuana in the background of the Dale and Saul scene. Yeah. Following their failed assault on the abandoned barn, Saul is taken to the ladder down into the basement where he asks if there is a rancher down there. This is a reference to Star Wars Return of the Jedi, wherein Luke Skywalker is dropped into the rancher pit through the secret trapdoor and Jabba's palace to be eaten by the rancher.
Is it not Rancor?
I don't know, dude.
Okay. Sorry.
Which was a giant monster residing in the pit. Sure, it's Rancor.
Okay.
The last time I saw Return of the Jedi was 15 or 20 years ago.
Meh.
Yeah, I forget the name. So now I have to talk about some idiots. The Now Playing podcast, and yeah, I hope they hear me one day. Reviewed this movie and received the lowest score. They gave it 2 red arrows or 2 not recommended, and they're fucking wrong.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Wrong enough for me to call them idiots. We're going to start putting our trivia or our ratings on IMDb.
Yeah, so people have some real ratings to go to.
100%. That's my trivia fact. That's what I ended with.
All right.
Yeah, I enjoyed this trivia facts. Reading it. It was a lot of fun.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. What's next?
We got our movie impersonation segment.
Uh-huh. What is it?
We are going to come up with 3 fake names of strands of marijuana.
Okay. I'm going to be really bad at this because I'm bad at this shit.
All right.
So I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Because you're going to nail it.
I don't know. I haven't really thought of this, and I'm trying to think right now. So,
and I'm just going to have to follow you, so... Fuck. This is not easy. Bursting orange sherbet.
all right.
Tally Wacky Wally.
Tally Wacky Wally's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And You Would If You Could.
I feel like there's a reason it's named that.
Yeah, just like in Grandma's Boy, it'll make you shit yourself.
You would if you could.
Yep.
All right. So I've got the redheaded She-Hulk.
Okay.
Pot dealers love when their shit has red hair on it.
Yep. That's why I went with the orange. Similar thing.
Snow-covered out Kush.
Ooh. That's as good as Tally Wacky Wally.
That just sounds delicious.
Yeah, say it again. But slower. Make it sexy.
Snow-covered Alps Kush.
Boom.
Whew. And then number 3, we've got Simple Lemon Drop. I want a booze reference in there. You know what you're getting. And if y'all are listening, I don't give a shit. I don't care what the strain is called. It's either good or mediocre. That's all I need to know.
You've never cared about that as long as I've known you.
Never once.
And you never will.
Nope. Too late now.
Too late now. Even when you go to a place where it's legal, you're just like, I don't care.
No, don't care.
Just give me whatever. That looks good and it's cheap. I'll take that.
Yeah, exactly. How much better is this more expensive one than this more expensive one? Not much. Give me the cheaper one.
Yep.
Oh, a lot. Give me the more expensive one.
Yep. Easy. We had one really good one and then 2 okay ones.
Yeah. We miss the mark sometimes.
That's okay. The 2 good ones were good.
Yeah.
I like those. Final thoughts on the movie. What's your rating of this movie? Because I promise it's lower than mine.
It might be, but it won't be much. The question comes down to, what do you give the perfect stoner movie? Do you give the perfect stoner movie a 10 because it's a perfect stoner movie? Or, like, it's not a perfect movie, but it's the perfect stoner movie, so it's a 9.7. Is mine still lower?
Wow. That was high, BJ.
It's the perfect stoner movie.
That was high, BJ.
Okay.
We share the same rating, 9.7.
All right.
And I don't know why it doesn't get to 0.3. I'm really at a loss. If someone was to ask me, it's a 10.
Yeah, if I'm rounding up to a 10 because it's above a 9.5.
But I don't know why it doesn't get that 0.3.
This is one of my top 5 comedies of all time, too.
Yeah. I agree. Should they remake it?
I think they should, especially like now that they're older and you can even play them, you know, what happened to them as they got older.
That'd be funny.
I think they absolutely should remake it. They made this one fairly cheap. Pot's legal in half the states now recreationally. I don't know if it's half, but whatever.
Closer than it was in 2008.
Like, you'd get my money. I'm not expecting it to be as good as this, but you'd get my money at one point or another.
But should they remake it like this movie, not a sequel?
Sure.
Okay. I agree. I don't know how you're going to do it if you, like, remake this movie.
It's so hard.
But like, you'd find somebody to cover these roles. And you would change it, you'd tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the hard part is you have the perfect person in each role.
Uh-huh.
So that would be difficult.
I'm also down for a sequel because that sounds fun as shit. Good and bad IMDb reviews. And BJ, I promise you're going to like this first good one.
Okay. Yeah, good one. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but some of them aren't great.
Okay.
But this guy is akin to you in the scene where they're sword fighting with the fluorescent lights.
Where I paused the movie because I was laughing so hard?
Correct.
Yeah.
He's got a great username. Beep Boop Beep 7.
Fantastic.
Yep. Titled Older Viewer. I was not interested in seeing this movie as I thought it would be a stupid teen movie. My daughter went with her older cousins, which she is only 16, and since the theater had strict security, I was forced to go in as her guardian. I am 46 years old and I laughed the whole entire movie. By the end, I was laughing so hard that I could not take it anymore. I think I laughed more than the kids.
Yeah, all right. Beep boop 7.
Yep. There were so many laugh out loud scenes, and the interaction between the characters was pure gold. It really took me back to my younger days. So for you older people, this really is one movie you do not want to miss. Be sure to go to the bathroom before, because this is definitely one of those pee in your pants movies.
So for first thing, when you said that last line, I was like, oh man, you're not that old to have to be peeing in an hour and 45-minute movie.
Right? Like, come on.
Secondly, this proves once a stoner, always a stoner.
100%.
That guy probably hadn't smoked weed in 25 years.
Yep. But he watched it and he was like, hell yeah.
Once a stoner, always a stoner.
My Bad Review by JW Pitcon 15. So probably his name. Titled, Who Allowed This to Offend Our Screens? I watched this based on the 7 or so out of 10 it seemed to be getting. 2 wasted hours later, I'm confused as to how this actually came to be released. It smacks of equally stoned and spaced out individuals making up as they went along. Besides a virtually non-existent plot, poor character development, and a film that's entirely based around an overrated drug.
Whoa! Did he just call marijuana an overrated drug?
He 100% called marijuana an overrated drug.
I mean, it's rated the best because it's the best.
There's a whole little scene in Dewey Cox Walk Hard of why weed's the best.
Yeah. You don't want no part of this shit, do we?
Well, you're right. I don't want a hangover. Doesn't cause hangovers. Anyways, but what would this guy, what would he rate a good drug?
I don't know, because cocaine's terrible.
We talked about that last week. Cocaine is the fucking worst, which means crack has to be right there with it.
Oh, it's got to be even worse, right?
Yeah.
Mushrooms you just can't do enough of.
Well, the thing about mushrooms and even acid is like, you're going to have a bad trip and you can't just make it stop. I've never had a bad time smoking pot.
Never had a bad trip. Never had a trip.
But you can have a bad one is what I'm saying.
No. Never had a trip with weed. Never. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So is this a prescription drug guy?
It's got to be. Because
he's a ketamine guy?
Because it can't be heroin, right?
No.
Like, I've watched The Wire.
It can't be meth.
No.
Because he sold his laptop a long time ago before he could write this review.
Correct.
If it was.
Correct. So it's got to be prescription drugs.
Overrated.
Just popping pills like Brett Favre. What I found most disturbing was the callous and gratuitous portrayal of violence. People were shown killing and seriously wounding each other within the atmosphere of a pillow fight. Violence in film these days is commonplace, and we have to live with it one way or another. Or not, if you don't want to watch 90% of films. But violence in most films make me go, ouch, that's gotta hurt. Or even go off into imagining how people can endure such pain. Case in point, the new Bond film, strapped down on a chair scene. Now that was realistic. One could almost feel it. Now, juxtapose. That was just about any scene of violence in Pineapple Express. Are you getting the idea?
Yeah, you hate fun.
Anyone who has seen PEX
Pineapple Express.
What an idiot. Anyone who has seen Pineapple Express and fails to understand what I'm on about must be so dumbed down as to be in an advanced state of general human amnesia. I guess we're in a dumbed out state of general human amnesia.
I don't know. He's the one calling marijuana an overrated drug.
That's true.
Is that the main reason you picked this review?
100%.
Okay.
Let's keep it real. We can have fun and enjoy a good flick, but be aware of money grabbers like PEX, because that's all they are.
Blech.
Yeah, don't hit us up. You're not allowed on here.
No.
Don't even
Beep Boop 7 is, though.
Yeah. Beep Boop Beep 7? Come on. Come on, baby. And the answer to the question, should people watch this movie? It's a resounding yes.
Yeah, of course. Even if you're not a stoner, I think you can appreciate how self-aware this movie is.
Oh yeah, this movie's great. Just watch this movie. It's great. You'll love it. We both gave it a 9.7. I would have lost a lot of bets in the last couple weeks with BJ, but I would have bet my life that I was going to rate this movie higher than you.
I love this movie.
Wow. Well, that's us. IRMFT. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Reddit?
Yeah, we have
follow
Reddit.
people on Reddit?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't really know how it works. I just know you make comments on Reddit posts.
It's internet magic.
Yep, and I don't understand how it works. What do we have next week, BJ?
The Boobalicious Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
Boobalicious!
Bye!